Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to call to order the May 23rd, 2023 regular board meeting for Tuscaloosa City Schools. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a period of silence, and then we will follow that by the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everyone may be seated. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board. Good evening. Okay, board, may I have a motion to adopt the May 23rd, 2023 regular board meeting agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is anybody opposed? This agenda will be adopted. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the May 2nd, 2023 regular board meeting and the minutes of the May 9th, 2023 called board student hearing meeting?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Those will be approved. Item number 5, receive Tuscaloosa City Board of Education October 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2022 audit report. Mr. Josh Taylor. Good evening, sir. You're hiding this time.
Yes, I'm Josh Taylor. I'm an audit manager with the Examiners of Public Accounts. In accordance with the provisions of Code of Alabama 1975, Section 16-13A-73E, I'm here to present our audit report on the Tuscaloosa City Board of Education covering the period October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. This report is available in its entirety on our website at www.examiners.alabama.gov. It was published on April 21st, 2023. We conducted our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards for the purpose of rendering an opinion on the financial statements and to determine whether the board complied with applicable laws and regulations. We also conducted an audit of the board's federal financial assistance programs in accordance with the provisions of Title II, U.S. Code of Federal Regulations, Uniform Administrative Requirements, Cost Principles, and Audit Requirements for Federal Awards, also known as Uniform Guidance. We issued an unmodified opinion on the board's financial statements for the year ended September 30th, 2022. We also issued an unmodified opinion on the major federal financial assistance programs. The major federal programs that were audited during FY22 were the COVID-19 Education Stabilization Fund, the 21st Century Community Learning Centers, Title I grants to local educational agencies, the Child Nutrition Cluster, and the Emergency Connectivity Fund program as of September 30th, 2022. There were no findings presented in our report. If there are any questions that pertain to this audit, we ask you to please direct those to our main office in Montgomery. We would like to thank the staff for accommodating us during our audit. We thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
I'm going to move just one thing out of order. I'm going to take item number 9. We're going to now recognize Special Olympics basketball team as silver medalists. Woo woo! Is that being presented by Dr. Pope? Who's presenting?
Dr. Pope, you're presenting.
Special Olympics. I moved it out of order, Dr. Pope.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight we have a special group, the Tuscaloosa City Schools Mustangs basketball team here, recognizing them for winning the silver medals in Division III. They competed on March 9th and March 10th. So I'm going to ask all Central High School, Northridge High School, and Paul W. Bryan High School team members that would stand. And everybody, please give them a round of applause. And Coach. And this is well deserving for this team, but I also want to turn it over to this outstanding coach here. So Coach Peter, he's going to give us more information on what these young men did and how they brought the awards home to us, Tuscaloosa City Schools. Coach Peter.
Well, first, I'd just like to say we're extremely thankful to be able to get back to Special Olympics and competing out there again. And we're very grateful for our TCS family. They've always have treated us amazingly well. But these young men right here, they're awesome. They worked really hard. They did not have an opportunity to play together as a team until we were at the state championships. Our first draw was against the eventual state champions, who I just recently found out have been undefeated for 3 years they've been playing together. It was our first game. We were 1 3-point shot away. Any one of my gentlemen here could have made that shot if we would have got that ball back one last time. But I'm very proud of them. They did amazing, and I expect we'll be seeing a little more of them again next year.
Hey, Coach. Coach, if you'll get a picture, but on behalf of the board, congratulations. I know you do wonderful work with these young men, and I know you've got such a great big heart for what you do, and the board appreciates your work and your dedication. And boys, congratulations, and next year we hope to see you up here with first place, okay? Them all standing up.
Congratulations.
Okay, once again, congratulations, guys. Job well done. Item number 6 is presentation to the Board of Education by Peyton Franklin of Girl Scout Troop number 29512. Good evening.
Good evening. I am Peyton Franklin, and I am part of Girl Scout Troop 29512 out of Elizabeth Baptist Church, where the Reverend Dr. Vernon Swift is my pastor. My troop leaders are Dr. Brittany Anderson and Dr. Erica Bevel. One of the things that Girl Scout troops all across America participate in is the opportunity to give to others. As a project, we all had to pick one organization that helps others to donate cookies to. Since I am a student of TCS, I decided to give the TCS Board of Education cookies. Thank you for serving our community, and I hope you enjoy your cookies.
Peyton, make sure you give Mr. Hamner's cookies to me, okay? Hey, but Peyton, number one, I know I was a Boy Scout, so I know what hard work you put in, and I know how much you love to serve others, but the way that you walked up to that podium and just presented something so like an adult was awesome. Great job. Proud of you. Well done. Okay, item number 7. We are now going to recognize the 2022 Class Banner School for District 4, Tuscaloosa Career and Technology Academy. Dr. Daria.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are here tonight to recognize an incredible team from TCTA. They were recently recognized as a Class Banner School. So for your background, the Council for Leaders of Alabama Schools Their role is to really highlight best and next practices in Alabama that are making a difference in Alabama schools. So it's set up in districts, and we had 2 schools from the city schools that were named as schools of distinction, among some others in our area. And of course, TCTA was awarded the highest of our district with the class banner school. Ms. Branch is going to start coming up, and as she's coming up, I want to say this to you. Often we have a conversation about how do we get young people interested in what's in this building, because this building is the gateway for so many incredible careers and opportunities. And I think we've agreed in conversation that high school's too late, middle school may not be early enough, and Ms. Branch and this incredible team whom she will talk about and introduced, they said, let's get at this, and they did. And they were highlighted for really exposing our youngest students in Mini WOW to what is here at TCTA, and that is identified as a best practice. So congratulations to Ms. Branch and this incredible team that are doing really next level things to make sure career tech and college and career readiness is alive and well in the city schools. Ms. Branch.
Thank you so much, and good evening to all of you all. I'd like to start off by having my team to stand. Everyone is not here this evening, but quite a few of them were able to attend. So if the staff from TCTA could please stand. One of the things that, although I stand here as their representative, one of the things that I want to be crystal clear about is that this work is truly about the team. We bring 13 elementary schools, every 4th grader in the district through this school. And they participate in hands-on activities in the classrooms. They spend about 25 minutes in each class, and they are actually doing something that is directly related to the trade. So if you ever see our pictures, what we represent here, we really give them and provide them with the best. And I told my staff today that it takes all of us working together to make this happen. Mini WOW does not exist without all of them. There's one thing to think of this or to do the logistics or to come up with the planning, but at the end of the day, it's these teachers welcoming 4th graders into their classrooms. It's these teachers giving them the best of what they have. That is what makes this exciting. That is what makes the 4th graders want to come back. That is what makes the 4th graders say, when I get to high school, I want to go to TCTA. And it takes everyone. It takes the support from central office. It takes support from you all. It takes support from our custodial staff, which they're here represented with us. It takes our front office staff. It's a lot to bring 800 4th graders into this school to actually do something meaningful with them. So I am going to ask Ms. Long, she has exactly 2 minutes or less to come and just speak from her perspective of what Mini WOW means, what it is like for our 4th graders to actually come here and engage. So Ms. Long, you ready?
Yes, ma'am, I'm timing it.
Okay, let's go.
I've been told to be very brief. That's easy because I'm short, so I'll keep it short. Okay, so seriously though, it was an amazing undertaking, and we have just the right staff to do it and the right administration. So y'all, if you will, please, seriously, our staff is amazing. So proud to be part of it. Thank you. They are outstanding. Y'all, they are outstanding. Thank you. Don't cut into my 2 minutes. Okay, so we are very proud to be part of a class banner, School of Distinction here, to win the class banner. Y'all, we saw 4th graders that were so excited because we know how important it is to engage children at a young age, because we're opening up those synapses. We're making things fire. We're making things connect. And the easiest way to do that is through hands-on, because you remember something so much more than just being told it. You remember it by actually being told it, see it, do it. Here at TCTA, we really do believe in see one, do one. okay? And the fourth graders got to do that. We saw everything from building prototypes and doing things like building marshmallow shooters on a production line assembly and constructing desktop organizers and doing welding demos and letting them see that, being mini filmmakers and electrical circuits with ACM and being the top chef with building cupcakes and just decorating them beautifully. And we did everything from 3D animation, Blender, things like rescuing babies and learning how to put out fires. And of course, being a firefighter, you got to go up to the ladder and rescue the animal, right? Because that's all firefighters do, right? Wrong. And so we learned things like actually going in and building the models to solve problems, taping CPR, doing things like treatment and pathogens and germs and everything, and saving a life with CPR. I think DeMar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills will believe that, hey, it's great that it starts early, okay? So our folks learned so much, not just we teaching the fourth graders, we learned so much from the fourth graders back because we saw what intrigued them. We saw what lit them up, right? And that's awesome because that meant we had them. We got them. And so they say to see, a picture's worth 1,000 words. We want to bring those pictures to life and make those kids get involved. That's why it's so important what we do here, and we really appreciate your support and what y'all give us to do what we do every day, okay? And the old proverb about, give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day, but teach him to fish, and he will feed himself for a lifetime. That's what we want to do. Let's start with the young kids because it's so important. The young kids that's when we're reaching them. All right, and they're going to remember what they did here. And when it comes time to get that schedule, they're going to say, I want to be a part of that because I remember that. Thank you so much for allowing us to do what we do. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I know Mr. Lucas will want to say something, but the notes that I had written down were passion and buy-in. And if you couldn't see passion for Mary T, then you don't know what passion is. And buy-in, your team, every time there's something, they show up, they buy in, they come with a great attitude, they all have smiles, and, your staff is just amazing. Certainly the leadership matters. And I remember when Dr. Daria, we first talked about moving you to this position, and I was a little bit befuddled, and you have knocked it out of the ballpark. You have moved the needle. And both from a professional and a personal level, I'm so proud of you. Continue to do what you're doing. Great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He wanted to go first. He could steal all the words I wanted to say. But I will add a few more just not to prolong it. This building means so much to me.
Yes.
When we first came on board as a board member, this was one of the first projects that was dumped in our hand, me being the chairman of the Building and Grounds. We traveled to Las Vegas, we traveled all over Alabama looking at what we could find out there that our students would be excited about. And we've tried to bring as much of it back into this building as we can. But building a building, having the things in here is one thing, but getting the children inside, and that's what it seems like you all are doing and have done, is getting the children to come into the building. It is so important that this building here and what we do at this site helps not just educate children, but it changed the lives of those children and their families. And we want to thank each and every one of you all for everything that you've done, because some of them wouldn't even have the opportunity to understand or know those things that they learn in this building, because it's just what they see, and what you see is what you become. But being in this building and with all the programs that we have here, it's an opportunity for them to see things that they'll never see in a normal setting, in a regular high school or anywhere else. So thank you for what all you all do, and we appreciate it. We love y'all, and let's keep going.
Thank you.
Now, for your recognition, y'all get to sit throughout the whole rest of the meeting. All right, item number 8. We will now recognize Tuscaloosa Magnet School Elementary as an ALSDE 2021 to 2022 Legislative School Performance Recognition Program School. Dr. Darius.
Yes, sir. Board members, you all had the privilege of visiting Magnet Elementary School earlier this year. And during that visit, and probably any other visit you've been there or that we have been there, you see a school that is super motivated to make sure all students are highly successful. They are data-driven, they've got big hearts, they build their plans based on results, and they care for each and every child. They live the IB philosophy, and they're just an amazing team. And you all know that because you get to see it. We get to see it here pretty regularly. Our state, through legislative recognition, sees it through their outcomes, their data. And they have recently been named a top 25% school in the state of Alabama. And that is because of the work that you all have witnessed and that you've seen from an amazing faculty, staff, and team. I'm going to ask Ms. Nachani to start coming to the podium, but she is going to talk about this team of folks whom you all know. They are tireless educators, they love their students, and they get at this work with enormous passion, grit, and determination. And that's what it takes to get the outcomes that they are getting. And we are extremely grateful, and we want to congratulate Ms. Nachani and this entire team for this accomplishment and the ones to come. Ms. Nachani.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to the board for recognizing this work. I'm actually going to embarrass all of them, and I'm going to ask them to come down. They never get, to be recognized like this. And several of them are here today. Many of them couldn't be, but I want all of them to come stand beside me because I couldn't do this without them. So on May 11th, Dr. Cameron accompanied me, and I had one of my teachers, Jennifer Jenkins. Her name actually got pulled out of the hat because I didn't know who I could take with me. And my amazing secretary who keeps us grounded, Whitney, got to come. She never gets to leave the building, so I was like, these are the two that are going to come with me. And Dr. Cameron was the brave soul. He didn't drive with us, though. He did not. But anyway, so we got to go on May 11th, and we got to witness several other schools getting recognized, but we were the only school in Tuscaloosa City Schools that was recognized. There are not enough words I can say about this group. I know several are missing, but they work hard, and Dr. Darius summed it up really well. They all want to do what is best for the students. There's not a day that goes without me feeling, when I go home at night, that we've all done everything it takes for our students, and we want to do the very best. So that award was truly the testament of the commitment that each and every one of these individuals, along with several others who are not here, do daily in preparing the very best. Those are the outcomes that you get to see and the state gets to see. In the work that our students put forth. So I'm just the fortunate one that gets to be part of this team, but it is them that does it. They do it all. I get to just watch the fun every day with them. So, thank you.
And of course, everyone sitting up here knows better than it's just watching the fun. Not to take away from your staff, because your staff is amazing, and I think the things that I have learned about your staff is something that I've learned from you, and that's demanding and wanting excellence in everything that you do. And it trickles down to your staff, because that's what I see from them as well. And you've become a regular fixture in front of this board because you demand excellence. You have. And the whole board is super proud of what you're doing at that school and your efforts, your awards. But more than the awards is what y'all do for those kids, and we see it each and every day. So thank you, and we're proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you guys do for us.
I just wanted to ask, do you guys get tired of winning? I mean, all these awards.
No, we're thinking of the next thing already.
Must be so cumbersome. cumbersome, right? What?
Yeah, a little bit.
What an outstanding group of people. Just so very impressive that you are so incredibly good at your jobs and that you love them so much, and we really appreciate you all.
Thank you.
There's the compassion that you guys have. It's you know, we talk about the dedication, the hard work, and sometimes you get finished on a hard job and you look behind you and it's just scorched earth and everybody's tired. When you guys look behind you, there's such a positive wake that you leave behind everything you do. Everybody's working together, pulling in the same direction, and you celebrate your successes together, and you really, really, really have a great team. Great leadership and great team, so well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, at this time, there's public comments on non-agenda items. We do have one lady that would like to speak, but I think she wants to speak on a specific agenda item. Is Ms. Young present? Do you want to wait until that specific agenda item? Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'll move you to that agenda item. Okay, now that will take us to item 11, which are informational reports from the superintendent. And tonight, we will have a report from Mr. J. Duke. So 11B1 and 11B2 will be Mr. Duke's presentation. And before you get started, sir, what transpired in item number 5, if I can read through my chicken scratch now, is awesome. Congratulations to you and your team. When we hired you, we knew that these would be the results that we would have. So you've made us super proud, and job well done. Congratulations.
Thank you for those kind words. And of course, you know, as Jetta Branch was saying, it's a team effort. So, but we appreciate the support from the superintendent, the board, executive staff here that's in this room tonight. And again, we've got a great team. I just hope I'm some small part of it. So thank you. Mr. Chairman, board members, I'd like to bring to you the financial reports for the 6th month of our fiscal year, which is through March 31st. We are now reporting out tonight on 50% of our budget year. And we'll start with the tax reports as we usually do. We'll take a little bit of a look at sales tax in particular, then look at the general fund management report, take a look at some transportation fuel expenditures that we generally do a few times a year, and then close with looking at expenditures in a little bit more detail. Property taxes are winding down and looking like that about 97% of collections are complete through March 31st. It's looking like we'll probably hit and a little bit surpass our budgeted amount of $31.2 million. We've got about 3 months to go as of March 31st. So we've collected $30.3 million, and we think we'll hit that target of $31.2 million. Our license car tag tax is up versus last March and is coming in healthy, and the year-to-date amount compared to last year, as you see there in the bottom right, is over the amount of last year and is tracking to hit and possibly surpass a little bit our budgeted amount. Sales tax. Sales tax came in very similar to the same amount last year, and we are up year over year versus our previous year amount, and we are tracking above what we budgeted. A little bit more detail on sales tax. We do see a little tightening, leveling off, if you will, on sales tax. This time last year, the previous 5 months were up versus the previous year, which would have been 2021. We look now at the last 5. Chris, if you'll go ahead and go to that next slide. If you'll look at the last 5 months, I've got the current year in green. The blue dotted line is last year. You'll see we've been up 3 months versus the same time last year. We've been slightly down 2 months. So again, you see I've got in red brackets there that tight range. This particular month increased 4%. So we're glad to see that, but again, we don't see those huge jumps that we were seeing this time last year. Again, tightening, leveling off, if you will. On to the general fund management report. The revenues, of course, are at the top part of the page, summarized there in green. We are, of course, halfway through the year. Our target is 50%. You see our revenues are at 60%. The reason that is we collect property tax early. So the first part of the year, that's always going to be a little higher than our target. Expenses down there in the red, they are slightly above budget, but still right there at 50%. So we seem to be tracking okay there. One item in particular that we track every month internally, we don't report out every month to you, but we always look at transportation fuel. Went back about 7 years on that just to kind of give you a graph there. Of course, I put the COVID sign or symbol there just to give you an idea of why we had that drop. Of course, we had parked buses for months during the years of 20 and 21. We started returning back in 22 to full speed. Also know that from 21 to 22 there, not only did we return to more normalcy in our transportation department, but prices also increased. So they've leveled off here recently. So right now, as we sit here, my projection is that we'll finish real close to what we did last year in bus fuel. I've looked at a lot of different of our types of expenses, and there's a pattern there where we dropped expenses, of course, dropped during COVID because of our closure. And then what's happened as we've returned to normal, and then as inflation has raced up, you'll see expenditures have gained momentum. That is my lead in to the next slide. I mentioned earlier that sales tax.
On the bus thing though, you know, it is up a little bit, but have we increased buses, bus routes? I don't see Dr. Cameron either. Oh. Have we increased any buses or bus routes that would cause us to be part of that? Not just the prices, because the prices have been jumping around.
We'll increase at least 3 routes next year, but we've stayed about the same.
Same this year, okay.
Now to the overall expenditures, which were embedded in that previous general fund management report. Here's a year-to-date actual compared to the this time last year. And you'll see those increases pretty much across the board. And overall, that's a 13% increase. So what we're starting to see is that compared to sales tax, for example, where I showed you previously there was a 4% increase in sales tax, but we got a 13% increase in expenditures. So that's something that we're talking about for the future and how that looks and what adjustments that we might have to make, whether it be on the revenue side, the expenditure side, or both. So I'll pause there. Any questions?
I think it's important to note that the expenses that are going up are in instructional services and instructional support services. They're not in debt outlay. They're not in operations. You know, the budget is doing it well, and we're putting money where I think we need to in the classrooms and in the teachers.
That's right. Mr. Hamner, that's a good point. Those top 2 categories are about 80% of our budget. So we're putting the money in the classrooms, to the kids, and like I said, all of the other categories are just around only about 20% of our budget. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the report for the month of March.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Good job.
And do we have a B2 CARES Act?
Yes, I'll lead right into the CARES Act. Thank you. The CARES Act report this month, following the same pattern have in the past each month. Again, this is through March 31st, same period we just looked at on the General Fund Management Report. CARES Act 1 closed it out last year. Here, CARES 2 Act, you can see it ends. So the one in the middle, the CARES 2, it ends this September. So we're starting to get on the home stretch with CARES 2. It's 88% complete with about $1.5 million left. as of March 31st. CARES 3, it ends September of '24. It's at 30% complete, and I think I've told you this before, but it's worth repeating. When CARES Act 2 ends, we'll roll most of those expenditures into CARES Act 3. So that 30%, it'll pick up pace starting next October. You'll see that, the meter on that going up fast. So on the next slide, I think, Dr. Jackson, I think last time I presented out, you asked for a little bit more detail on that, a graphic on it. So the next two slides show what we're funding, what positions are funding, and right now through the end of March, and this will change, but through the end of March, we've got 53 positions being funded out of these CARES Acts. And just on the next slide, I just put it in kind of a pie chart format there to give you an idea. The bulk of it being in, we're using to fund nurses, and then consulting teachers and teachers. If you add those two together, that's 20. So again, to the point that Mr. Hamner made, we're putting the money in the classrooms with nurses and teachers and our expenditures. So that's where the weight of it is. Again, just want to point out, we kind of calibrated a little bit in April and made some coding adjustments and just kind of readjusted a few things. We'll see this 53 number rise a little bit, not because we hired anybody, but because we were strategically able to move some funding sources. So I'll come in here next month and show you the month of April, and you're probably going to see about 60 or so people. And again, we're doing that to strategically try to relieve some of those expenses from the general fund, build up our reserve, or mitigate the budgeted loss anyway. Any questions on the CARES Act report out?
Any questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Duke, and once again, great job on the no findings on the audit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, may I make one comment on this? I think this is I'm not going to put Jay on the spot yet, but you guys know this, so this is just an ongoing reminder. So you see 53, next month it might be closer to 60. When the funds end, Dr. Pope, Dr. Cameron, and Mr. Duke, they've got a very specific plan for which of these personnel go back into the general fund, and then which cannot move back into the general fund. I say that to you because that's a fairly large number of employees. We know very specifically how many go back into the general fund because we moved them from general to ESSER, right? And then that will begin to draw on that reserve at a higher rate. So I know we've talked about that. I know you know that. I just want to kind of keep coming back to that. In the future, somewhere in the future report outs, and again, we still have another year, but we'll start getting a little more specific on exactly how many that is and what kind of rate of burn that'll have on the reserve that you all purposely built to re-enter them back into general and to continue for a short period of time current level of services.
I think it's important to note also, one of the smaller portions of that is classroom instruction teachers, which is the support teachers asked for that we gave to help them with whether it's nurses, social workers, et cetera. Those are very, very, very important spots that we have to find ways to continue to fund in order to keep education and move the education needle at the level we want to keep going and the trajectory you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Duke. All right, item 12 is introduction of motions, resolutions for a first reading. 12A, receive, discuss revisions, updates to the Tuscaloosa City School Academic Guide 2023 to 2024. Good evening, Dr. Pope.
Good evening, Board. This is the revisions and updates for 23-24 academic guide. There were 26 revisions or updates made to the 22-23. So as we updated, there were basically most of the changes were due to language from the state, course numbers change, course either the numbers change or the course themselves, the title change, or any language change. But there were 5 that were pretty much TCS changes. And the first one was on page 13 of the academic guide. It talks about the students, when students in middle school take additional math courses that credits for high school. The language is ensuring that parents understand that even though they got math credits in middle school, they must take 4 math credits in high school during the 9th through 12th grade years. The second one was the schedule changes for if the 10th day of school was a schedule change, anything after 10th day, I would have to, the deputy superintendent's office would have to make those, approve those changes. So now the school level, because of the urgency and making sure schedules were done, they changed that to the 5th day. So the committee changed it from the 10th to the 5th day for schedule changes to be elevated to the office of deputy superintendent. The third revision update was in dual enrollment on page 2035, added Auburn first to our dual enrollment programs. On page 42, ACT waivers, instead of 2 waivers for a student, there are 4. So updated, deleted 2 and replaced with 4 waivers for those students. And the 5th one we wanted to lift is related to our, we have a pilot course by Elevate USA, which is Elevate, I think is West Alabama. And the course is, we call it course 1, is Falcons Way 1 and Falcons Way 2. This pilot course is being done at Central High School, and it will be for grades 9, 10, and 11. And the focus is basically leadership, 13 qualities of character education, understanding that those students understand how the skills in the society, and those students end up being teacher mentors for our elementary age students. So those are the updates to the 23-24 academic guide. Have any questions?
Any questions, board?
First reading, just.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pope.
Thank you.
Okay, item 12B, receive, discuss first reading of the 23-24 Coach Evaluator Software Program. Dr. Sherrod, good evening.
Good evening, board members. First thing I would like to preface is we have good coaches and we simply want to make them better. So with that being said, Mr. Hurd has done an excellent job of seeking a system in order to help us to provide that feedback to our coaches so we can go from being great to greater. First of all, it's a web-based program, and it will be used to provide that feedback to our head coaches as well as our assistant coaches. Also, this will allow us the opportunity to track our data historically as far as it relates to athletics, wins and losses, playoff appearances, GPA for teams, and data of that nature. Really just giving us those additional data points that we will add to our data book that we do twice a year, the mid-year, the begin, and the end of the year, so it's 3 times a year. Also, it will allow our principals to observe and provide feedback to our head coaches, and then it will allow our head coaches to observe and provide feedback to our assistant coaches. And again, this system has been vetted through our IT department, as well as our principals, athletic directors, and coaches. The cost for this is approximately $1,898. Additionally, we've provided a WebEx for all of the individuals that will be involved in this system to view. Are there any questions?
And board, this is a first reading. Any questions for Dr. Sherrod? Okay, thank you, Dr. Sherrod.
Thank you.
Just one quick question.
Yes, sir.
Who will be doing the evaluation?
Pardon me?
Who will do the evaluation of the coaches?
Okay.
Who will enter the data, have the conversations?
Principals will observe and provide the feedback for the head coaches.
Okay.
And then the head coaches, the assistant coaches will be evaluated or observed and given that feedback from the head coaches.
Okay.
Okay?
And I was asking that also because the timing is gonna be everything, I think.
Yes, sir.
As we determine, you know, you have seasonal sports in the fall,
spring, et cetera, you know, how long after the season before, you know, they will be evaluated, or at least have the conversation of what transpired? Will it be a season to season or specific time of the year? Have we envisioned how that will work at this point?
Yes, sir. Through this process, Mr. Hurd has worked with the athletic directors, and we have a specific timeline related to the sports. So we have the first day and the end day. And Mr. Hurd, you can come on up.
For all winter spring sports, that evaluation will take place about 1 month after each season's sport ends. So basically, with our fall sports, we're talking about October. With our winter sports, we're talking about January. And with our spring sports, we're looking at, because they end in May, we'll get those June, 1 month after the season.
And we have a specific timeline with the dates.
All right, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Sherrod. All right, item number 13 is the consent agenda items, and it is quite lengthy. We have consent agenda items 13A, 1 through 11, 13B, C, D, E, and F. Board, may I have a motion to approve each of these consent agenda items?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? The consent agenda in total will be approved. Item number 14, regular agenda items for final adoption. 14A is approved superintendent's recommendation regarding changes in personnel. Good evening, Dr. Cameron.
Good evening. Yeah, the superintendent's recommendations regarding changes in personnel. You also have the supplemental list. I will go through both lists with you. Starting on page 1, you have 2 retirements. You have 5 new support personnel, 1 rehire of a support personnel, 8 transfer of certified personnel, 1 job declination, 15 reassignments. To page 3, you have 5 part-time extended day tutors, 1 23-24 athletic supplement removal, 2 22-23 athletic supplements, 4 2022-23 second semester academic incentives. On page 4, you have 2 2022-23 academic incentive removals. You have 1 22-23 second semester National Board Support Provider Lead. You have 11 22-23 second semester National Board Candidate Support Providers. You have 17 22-23 second semester Supply Resource Managers. To page 5, you have 58 Summer Learning Academy. On page 7, you have 2 for a transition supplement. You have 2 for certified personnel, a 15-day supplement. You have 4 22-23 spring semester mentor-mentee supplements. You have 1 non-renewal of a certified personnel pursuant to the Students First Act. You have 1 return from a leave of absence, which takes us to the supplemental list. You have 2 resignations, 7 new certified personnel, 1 rehire of a certified personnel, 7 part-time extended day tutor, 1 current employee who will become a bus aide. You have 3 Summer Learning Academy, 1 23-24 athletic supplement, 2 reassignments, 2 transfer of certified personnel, 1 23-24 volunteer coach, and 1 one-day suspension pursuant to, one one-day suspension of certified personnel pursuant to the Students First Act. And if all recommendations are approved, you have 54 teacher vacancies, down from 90.
All right, thank you, Dr. Cameron. All right, Board, before we discuss or vote, are there any set-asides for a separate discussion or vote?
Number 1 on the supplemental list.
The first supplemental list. Yeah, on the supplemental list, I'm sorry.
Number 1 on the supplemental list. Yes, sir.
Number 22 on the supplemental list.
Number 22 on the supplemental list. Board, are there any other set-asides? Okay, hearing no other set-asides, accepting number 1 on the supplemental list and number 22 on the supplemental list, Board may have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendations.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any questions or discussion by number only, please?
I missed looking at it earlier, but 33 would just be doing both campuses.
Split, so it's going to be that fourth period. It's going to be primarily at Bryant and then one period at Northridge High School.
We got the second person, or did we?
We do. We have 2 at Bryant right now, so the one will remain at Bryant, and while the other employees at Northridge High School.
Any other questions or discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Those will be approved. Okay, Board may have a motion to approve number 1 on the supplemental list.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second by Mr. Simmons. Questions, discussion?
I don't know who want to start the discussion, but thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kind of want to not take it along the direction where, you know, we're going to be fighting back tears and all that kind of stuff, because it's more of a celebration of you, your accomplishments, not just for the last umpteenth years in the system, you know, to the actions and measures from being a feisty principal at MLK to the ranks that you rose to now. Wholeheartedly, you know, Dr. Sherrod, we are going to miss you. There's so much love and admiration that we have for you. There's not enough vocabulary words that could be mentioned or quantify the measures that it's going to be with this system, children for generations to come, because you've helped us to set them up successfully for life, and that's ultimately it's the best reward as being a professional educator. I remember one, and I will quote Dr. Sutton on this, when he mentioned, "We're educators, damn it." You embody all of that with everything that you have to offer, every fiber of your being. You are an educator, damn it. And you always will be, not just what you've done for this system, but beyond. Thank you.
I like to say ditto after he done went there, so I'm gonna let some other people speak.
Well, I will say ditto as well. Personally, Dr. Sherrod, you have always, from the moment I came on this board, I'm not as old as Mr. Simmons, and I have definitely not served as long, so I don't remember all the olden days, but from the moment that I came on this board, you have treated me with so much kindness and respect. You have always lent your hand to help me. You have walked me through so many bumbling, fumbling student hearings. So from a personal level, I will deeply appreciate everything that you've done for me. From a system-wide perspective, I mean, Mr. Simmons said it best. Congratulations, and thank you for what you have done for this system. And I hate to even go here because I love this poem, and it's probably one of my most favorite poems, and I think it lends itself to your tenure here beautifully. And it's by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it says, "To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded. And you've succeeded because you have left TCS better than when you found it. And you have done so many of these things in that poem. So we love you. We're super proud of you. We hate to lose you, but you know, this is what we want from this family, is for everybody to reach their peak. And that may not even be your peak, but you're moving onward and upward, and we are super proud of you and wish you nothing but the best. God bless you.
Yeah, our loss is Phoenix City's gain, no doubt about it. I hope they know what they're getting. They'll be very lucky.
They better. Enjoy. Congratulations.
Okay, unfortunately, I will call for a vote at this time. All in favor?
Gotcha. You wanna call that vote again?
All in favor? All right, we will begrudgingly accept your resignation.
There will always be a warehouse in Alice.
Oh, we got you here.
All right, thank you, Dr. Sherrod. Number 22, board, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion, second. Questions, discussion?
Well, I'm glad we just ended on a happy note. I have voiced my concerns to the superintendent for 51 minutes today, and I'm gonna probably spend another less than 51 minutes voicing my concerns. So I have a concern. I really do. I think we are trying to get athletics and everybody on an even playing field, so that it's across the board fair. Booster clubs, I get it. And I do understand that everything is not equitable within any zone. However, I think we have situations that are in front of us that we really need to make conscientious decisions about before we jump. I'm really concerned about this. I really am. I'm disappointed. I'm upset. Because I just don't think it should have even been, it should not be right here until we are all clear. Now, everybody else may be clear, I'm not clear, which means at this point, there should be some concerns. It's not about the Booster Club, it's about equity, it's about fairness, and it's about the North Star. And if we want to start talking about the North Star, we can start talking about it. But we need to look long-term down the road and where we're going together, not apart. This isn't an apart situation. So, no, I don't think it, don't send me nothing else at 4 o'clock like this that just unnerves me. I got the email the other day, just didn't have time to process it. But then to really see it at 4 o'clock just tore me apart. It did. I've been asking this question. Are Booster Club supplementing payments? And it's been no. And I understand it's a policy, I understand it's on the books, but it's just too much at one time to digest. We've got other things, we've got on this agenda, DRC coming up. We had a Booster Club conversation meeting. It's been a lot of chitter chatter. It's about trust and transparency. And right now, I'm a little unnerved because I just don't feel good about this. But y'all vote the way you vote. My vote is no, and it's a hell no. It's not against anybody. It's just that right now, it's just not the North Star. This is not right now. Later, don't have anything against it. I get it. So then I've got to talk in code. We know where we're going with our North Star. Everybody else doesn't. That's my only concern. Want to keep talking about it? We can. I got all night long on this one. ask me whatever you want to ask me.
Mr. Chair, can we table this discussion, please? Is it possible to table it?
Do we need a motion to table?
You have to make a motion to table.
Can we table this to the next board meeting? That would be my motion.
Yeah, since you have a motion on the table, you have to, he could ask to table it with a motion on the table, you have to vote on it. You can get a second.
Second?
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion?
I
I'm
think-
sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, I'm glad that you're speaking.
I'm disappointed at the idea that we would table this discussion. We have had this has been going on for months. We've had this conversation 100 times. I thought we were all clear. I don't understand. I respectfully disagree with you, Dr. Thompson-Jackson, on the, respectfully disagree. I don't think that this issue means that we're not going places together. I think it absolutely means that we all have the option to go places together with the help of people who want to help us. So I would,
Well, I've got two comments. Number one, we've got to have 5 votes.
And I'm sorry.
Question to the superintendent is, when is our next one, Ms. Laus?
When's the next
Our
board
next
meeting?
meeting is on the 6th, I think.
No.
6th of June.
6th of June.
Will it hinder them at all with a delay, or?
I mean, the answer, so the question is, would it delay? I mean, the short answer is no.
The question was what? I'm sorry.
Would,
Dr. Berry.
if this were not voted on tonight, would it delay anything moving forward? No.
And look, this board rarely disagrees with each other. And so I think this is healthy. We only have 6 people here. It was put on the supplemental list. I'm not going to poll everybody. Anytime Mr. Simmons speaks like this, my respect for him, it causes me to pause. So I appreciate you stepping up. I don't think I don't think a 2-week delay hinders anything if it gets us to where this should go, because we had a policy that we voted on. And if we didn't like the policy, we should have voted against the policy. I also take issue with talking about certain schools or certain feeder zones in certain ways. And I get it, I grew up here, I get it. But if I said something derogatory about another feeder zone, that would be bad. And so I do not appreciate that. I respect the position, I don't respect the name calling, because I don't think it's warranted, and I don't think it's fair. But I respect the motion to table. I think if there's feelings this powerful from this board, we work so well together and we respect one another, I don't have a problem bringing the motion to table to a vote.
Right, and just a point of clarity, with the delay, we have student hearings coming up a week from tonight, and then we have a regular board meeting coming up 2 weeks from tonight.
No student hearings, correct?
There are no student hearings? Okay.
But we're almost to the end of the school year.
The supplement will potentially be used for the 2023-24 school year. It's not for the current year that we're.
That's correct, and I mean, we only have 6 members here, it takes 5, we're already at 5, so I'm not gonna risk losing this vote, so I'll call for a vote on the motion to table. All in favor? I'm an aye to table.
nay.
What are you?
2-week talk to get through there. I respectfully vote yay to do it. But I think I want everybody to get together and talk and understand where we are and why we're doing this.
Well, and I'm going to reiterate, we voted on a policy. This is in accordance with that policy. No one voted against that policy. That policy was voted on by this board, and it's a recommendation by the superintendent in coordination with the director of athletics. And I also think we need to look long-term, and if we want our athletics to be what we want them and need them to be, then we're gonna have to go down this road. And it's gonna be incumbent upon every school and every feeder zone to start hitting the pavement, every booster club to start raising money.
Helping each other, which I think everybody wants to do.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that it's tremendous what we're doing. There just need to be some clarity and understanding, and I think that's.
And that's my conversation.
I think that's
It is real bumpy, it's real choppy. Everything is not smooth right now. And I think in order for us to make yes, we voted on a policy, right? The policy is here, and now we're getting ready to act on the policy. It's just like a handbook. There's a bump here, and we need to straighten out that bump, because if not, that is going to come back on us when we're looking at that North Star. That's where my mind is.
Dr. Karen, I think your points are valid and they're clear. If we can, you know, I'm just calling a point of order on you, if I would, please. There is a vote on the table at the moment. Mr. Chair, call for the vote, please.
I call for a vote on the motion to table. I did call for a vote. It's passed with 5 ayes and 1 nay. Okay, so number 22. Go ahead.
I said thank you.
Did you have something, Mr. Lucas?
Do we need to talk Tuesday? Because we already got it on the agenda.
I personally think so, because everybody is clueless to what is going on in my head. So it's not fair that
We were discussing it, but do not take Tuesday off your schedule,
What are you talking, which Tuesday?
next Tuesday.
I appreciate that, Mr. Lucas, because as I said, my concern is, I feel like this conversation has been had many times over the last few months. I reject the idea that this is news. I want to know, I want to have a timeline for closure on this. So I am happy to show up Tuesday. I'm happy to show up
We
whenever.
may not be able to do Tuesday.
Well, I would like for somebody.
We will schedule a meeting before our next board meeting, but we need everybody that can be present if we can. And we'll get with Ms. House and work around the superintendent's schedule.
And it's
I think this is an important, you know, issue that we as a board need a little clarification. We get our clarification, and then we come back to the table.
Is Coach Hurd here?
He's here. He
I
was.
believe he stepped away.
Okay. Well, in that meeting, I would like his perspective, because obviously, his perspective, along with Dr. Daria's recommendation, is what led us here tonight. So, all right, let's move past that. Thank you, Dr. Cameron. Which takes us to item 14B. Sorry.
You're good.
Discuss approve 2023, 2024 transportation incentives.
So there are 3 actions we have for recommendation for the transportation incentives. Action 1, we're providing an incentive. Last year, we provided $1,000. This year, we're bumping that up. Recommendation is bump that up from $1,000 to $2,000, a $2,000 incentive for a candidate to be a bus driver. Currently, we have 17 bus driver vacancies, and if you look, I went ahead and bumped it to 20 because it's going to have probably 20. But you'll see that amount that it could cost us be $40,000 for that. Action 2, there's no change in Action 2. It's a full reimbursement for a CDL. But what it also happens, that 20 that we may hire, the 17, 20 may hire, they already come with a CDL. So everybody, we're not going to take advantage of that because we may get somebody who already has a CDL. So that's not going to be a tremendous cost to us. The action, and then the last action is the referral bonus. We started this referral bonus last year. We started it at 150. We're asking for the recommendation go from 150 to 250 for a bus driver or mechanic. We also we're staying with the $100 for the referral for a bus aide. We're looking at that, looking at a possible total cost of $50,745, whereas this year with our incentives, it's going to be a little over close to $69,000. So we do see a savings with that, but we think with increasing the amount of bonus for the new bus drivers, we will get more.
Okay, thank you, thank you, Dr. Cameron. Board may have a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Questions or
Yes.
discussion?
There are three major things that I get phone calls for that are not our normal things. One being the cafeteria. Two, my child is sitting out there and it's 8 o'clock and they're not at school. Three, the teacher saying, we started class and the bus get here 30 minutes late. I get those three calls every single year. If $50,000 is going to help us get some bus drivers that relieve those phone calls, I'm all in.
I'm with you, and I'm so fortunate that all those three calls fall under me. So, yeah, appreciate it.
I
We'll
know
work
they do.
to get in.
I know they do.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm at work and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you get this call and you get this call.
Yeah.
You know, and my kids still sitting out there. Why those kids still sitting out there by the bus? And it's because, and so if $50,000 will improve that issue,
Yes,
that's
sir.
a drop in the bucket.
And those bus drivers do a great job every single day. Some of them are driving the double route. Some I got to pick up another route as well. So it is, and it's unfortunate that they have to wait out there that long. I know, and it's a maze going out there and having to see if people call in sick or they call out what they have to do to make sure the bus has arrived. So we're hoping we can get with this incentive bonus, get additional bus drivers up to where we're going, so that'll alleviate your phone calls, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions, Mr. Lucas?
No.
Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Lucas, you and I?
Aye.
Thank you. We only have 5 now. That'll be approved. Thank you, Dr. Cameron.
I guess I hope we all like the code of conduct.
Yeah, so item 14C, discuss approve the fiscal year 2023 budget amendment number 1. Mr. Duke.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is adjusting our budget to better reflect the actual expenditures. And this is our annual budget amendment. Amendment number 1 is in the routine course of business, and I would respectfully ask for board approval.
Board may have a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second by Mr. Lucas. Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? You and I. Lucas.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Item 14D, discuss approve pre-ACT and ACT work keys attendance proposal. Dr. Pope.
Yes, Board. This recommendation is to approve pre-ACT and ACT. Our students in grades, sophomore students in grades 10th grade and 12th grade will be able to take the pre-ACT for 10th graders, and 12th grade will take work keys on the same day if this proposal goes through. Therefore, grades 9 and 11 will be virtual that day. And it's because of staffing and the way we're doing our paper, those assessments are paper, pencil. We have to have small rooms with testing accommodations for those students, and we have to have proctors and hallway support, so the staff will be short if we do it the same day and those students are on campus. So the recommendation is to provide virtual access for those students and allow both those grade levels to take the assessment on the same day. Any questions?
Board. Thank you, Dr. Pope. Board may have a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions or discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? That'll be approved.
Thank you.
14E, approve second reading of the 23-24 Tuscaloosa City School Parent-Student Code of Conduct and Resource Guide. Dr. Sherrod's swan song. Only fitting that you're last. And after you present, Ms. Young, I'll have you come down and discuss or have your piece, okay?
Okay, board members, good evening again, but there are no changes since the first reading. However, as we discussed in our work session, the student code of conduct is a fluid document. If there is something that is not working and need additional approval or improvements, we will reconvene as a team and make those necessary adjustments like we've done in the past.
Thank you, Dr. Sherrod. Board may have a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Before I call for a vote and discussion, Ms. Lisa Young, I'll ask you to approach the podium, ma'am, and I'll give you 5 minutes for you to discuss and say anything that you want to say. Please remember, board members will not be able to respond to any questions.
Yes, my name is Lisa Young, and I'm the current president of Tuscaloosa branch in AACP. I received, for the past week, I received several phone calls, text messages, and had some discussions about the proposed changes to the parent-student code of conduct. And although the process is not perfect, the Disciplinary Review Committee serves as a critical component in the due process of students and providing much-needed fail-safe for students facing severe disciplinary actions. One may argue that eliminating the Disciplinary Review Committee removes a step that prolongs appeals coming before you, the board. But if that is indeed the case, you can simply revise the process instead of eliminating the committee. When looking at the demographics of the students remanded to your STARS program, armed with the knowledge that children, regardless of race, offend at similar rates, it's apparent that there are some inherent biases that exist. If the Tuscaloosa City Schools enforce disciplinary policies uniformly, the demographics at the STARS would be at least 30% white instead of almost 100% black. According to the presentation given by Dr. Sherrod 2 weeks ago before this board, no input from the students, parents, or the community was included in the revisions of the Tuscaloosa City Schools disciplinary policy, a critical component if we are to act as a community. So I ask this board to not vote on the proposed revisions tonight. With something this important, there should be future discussions and input from all concerned parties.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Young, for appearing tonight, and thank you for your comments. Okay, we have a motion, and we have a second. Do we have any questions or discussion? Okay, having heard none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? That will be approved. Thank you, Dr. Sherrod. Item number 15, unfinished business and updates, of which there are none, which brings us to general announcements. As Ms. House stated earlier, there are no student hearings next Tuesday, May 30th. I would like to congratulate Dr. Pope for his election to the ILA board. Job well done. We're proud of you. We know you're also going places. We're not going to let you leave like her anytime soon, okay? So we're super proud of you and your work and being noticed by your peers, so congratulations. Okay, any further announcements by any board member?
We'll look for a date that we'll try to meet before.
I'll look forward to that.
All right, thank you, everyone. Having heard nothing further, we will now stand adjourned.
How you doing?